All right, so my fault. I'm aggravated at myself for not saying it, but the dipstick tube broke coming out, and I didn't realize it. Got everything back together and went, it's broken. Now I can't get to it. So really, it's tapered, and the only way to get it out is to drop the pan and knock it back up through. If it broke above, flush with the block, you might be able to get a hold of it with a pair of pliers and beat on it and get it out of there. This broke completely flush. There's nothing to get a hold of. So I've got to drop the pan on this. And to drop the pan, you got to remove this front cat, unbolt it. I'm hoping I can unbolt this and loosen the back brackets and just get enough clearance to drop the pan without having to completely take it off, because that back side of that where it connects to the exhaust is, as usual, rusted to nothing, you know, and it's going to break. I try to take those bolts off probably. The first thing, I'm going to try to unbolt it from this end of the cat here because it's just so much nicer. It's not rusted like the other side. And I'm hoping that if I get that off and drop it enough, I can just drop that down enough to get the pan off of there. It's really the only thing in the way that I can see. There's a couple bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, holding the heat shield on. If you think you're going to get these and it's rusted without heat, don't even bother. You'll just break them off, guaranteed. I got this one off, but I heated it. I soaked them. It just makes you feel better. I haven't found anything yet that really works. When they're rusted, they're rusted. I mean, it's just they're going to be a pain. So I was able to heat that one and get it off of there. I might as well just take all these off, I guess. Just get them out of the way. Might as well do that rather than mess with them. This front one's a real pain. It's hard to get to. It's just, I don't want to break it. Come on, let go. See what I mean? There we go. Just aggravate. All right, just set them out of the way. Over here, throttle cable. Just get this stuff out of here as much as I can. So now just getting these. This is just the heat shield bolts. Heat them up, but you never get them off of there. The Mac torch, I don't have acetylene, it's on my list, but Mac usually will do fine for these, small enough. See if that's enough. The other side was on fire. It's kind of cool. Yeah. Without that heat, forget it. You'll snap them right off. They won't move. You get that heat on them. You can hear them, but they will come off. And of course, don't forget, don't touch them. They're going to be smoking hot. I just try to lift them off in there and drop them right in my magnet tray. Without ever touching them. Get off. There we go. 2. All right, so can I get it this one? Yeah, I can get it that one. Can I get it that one? I can get it the bottom 2 here. This one I'm going to have to... Yikes, it's right up against the fan. Of course. There's no room here. Wow. That really sucks. I have to be careful with that. Because that is not a lot of room. So let me get these 2. I think I can get these 2 without any issue. Smoking this stuff, the penetrant. I'm just being mindful of my O2 sensor, which is right there. I'll do this as little as possible. This heat shield's already broken anyway, right there. I don't know. This one. All right, we'll go to this one next. That one's. I'm gonna have to pound the socket onto it, I think. glowing. Around it's glowing. I don't know where it's glowing now. Come on. There it goes. Yep. I pulled the stud. I pulled the stud out of it. Let me get a hold of that with a pair of pliers. Yeah, I'm not grabbing it in my hands. I like my fingers unburned. Pulled the stud out. But it came out. That's okay. As long as it comes out, I'm happy with that. I don't think that's going to do me any good until I heat this again, but we're just going to give it a little bit of a shot here and see. Slip it. Now. No, there it goes. It either broke or the stud came broke off. Broke off. Alright, we'll have to deal with that later. Not that concerned with it now. This bottom one. I'm pulling the fan back out of the way as much as I can. This is just, you know, trying not to break it off, but probably will break it off. Come on. Oh. At this point, I don't even care if I break it off. Just break it off. I get it loose. Oh crap! That's hot. That's brutally tight. That obviously didn't do anything. Go again. Right there. It's turning the whole stud, I think, which is okay. It turns the whole thing. I don't care if the stud comes out. I'm fine with that. Well, yeah, the stud's coming out. But if it just comes all the way out, it'd be perfect. Not breaking it. Gotta work it back and forth. It's turning. Will it keep turning? I don't know. Who knows? Never know this stuff. Good thing is, it's turning. It's not rounding it off. It's actually turning the stud out, which is, I'm fine with that. Like I said, comes out of there. Comes out of there. All I really care about. And it's stinking hot. I'll tell you that. Feel it through the glove. You just kind of work it back and forth a little bit. It starts binding up on me. I don't want it to break off. But it is coming out. This is why I don't do a lot of exhaust work. One, I don't have a torch. Two, I don't have a settling torch, I should say. I have a map, but that's not good for exhaust. I don't have a lift. It makes it really hard to do. You're just jammed in. I can do some, but the really bad stuff's corroded pretty bad. It's kind of hard to do it without a lift and a torch. It's coming off though. It's exciting, isn't it? Not really. Ain't nothing caught on fire yet. That's good. I only broke one, which was, honestly, it's broken in there anyway. I don't really care about that one. It'll live without that one. Corroded all around it. I'll show you when I get it out. Now the key will be, can I clear the fan with the stud? I think so. I don't expect it to be in there too much further. I said this will be the long one. Even then, my whole one came out, got it out. All right, that's the one that broke off. I could try to drill that out maybe. I'm not even gonna bother. You can see it's corroded. It'll live without that one fine. You can see where it's broken off inside the manifold. The other ones are okay. Okay, we're gonna go with that. Start. So not bad. 1 out of 5. That's a pretty good ratio usually. All right, let me show you these. Here are the 4 that I'm looking at right in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the cat in place. I'm gonna soak them, which I did a couple of them I could get to. I'm gonna hit them with some heat, and then I'm gonna gun them off. That's my best shot, impacting them off there, and see if that works. All right, these are 15 millimeter. I am gonna heat them. I'm not gonna mess with them. I'm gonna heat them because that's the best shot of getting them off without breaking. And then we want to go right at it. No, I am not touching that. It pulled the stud out, which is fine. Didn't strip it, just pulled the stud out. I'm fine with that. Get a magnet. I'm certainly not going to touch it. Pulled the stud out. See? Don't care. Works fine. Let go. Into the pan. All right, next one. Repeat the process for the other 3. Hopefully they go just as well. The gun also helps in this because a lot of times you try to do this by hand, it won't work, but a gun will shock it loose. Get it right on there and it's still going hot. Yep, pull it right out. All right, dropped it down. Good. 4 for 4 on that one. Batting 1,000. Dropped down about, man, 8-10 inches. That might be enough just to get it. Come on, grab it. To get it apart without having to do anything else. Beautiful. Kind of like that. All right. Now we're going to go back down underneath and see what we got to deal with here. All right, so I've disconnected the front of the cat up here. I showed you. I imagine if this wasn't rusted to nothing, there's probably a strap that goes around this. I'd have to undo these 2, look like 10 millimeter bolts, but there's not much left of the strap. But it dropped down, and the reality is I can shift it all the way over to one side here, enough that I can clear the pan easily, even if I can't drop it down with it still over here. I'm going to leave it here because it's a little better supported. But if I have to, I can move it out of the way completely. There's 2 13 millimeter headed bolts in here. Can't see them. They're facing this way into the bell housing. So I've got to break them loose. There's one. Alright, set that aside. I'm guessing there's supposed to be a strap on there, but there's not. Alright, so I think that's the only sideways facing ones that I know of, I think. Not a lot to see, it's just take them, back them out. That I can clear the pan easily, even if I can't drop it down with it still over here. I'm going to leave it here because it's a little better supported. And there is looks like a 10 millimeter here. It's facing right at the camera in the end of the housing that needs to come out, so I'll have to get a wrench for that. And we'll just go around to this other side here. Do the same. You probably want to use 1/4 inch for this. It's pretty tight on this side. I did drain the oil in this already, just to make it lighter. Yep, that's the one that was hung up. I knew it must have fallen down. Yeah. Let's see what it's sitting on here. directly under it. That axle is going to be tight, I can tell you that. Shift this out of the way. Let me get a jack stand for that. I don't want that just hanging there. Shift this all the way this way. Set it on there. It stays put. Blocks you from seeing anything. Now I gotta figure out what's holding it up. I think it's right in the front. It's just being held up a little bit. It is. There's a line. There's a hose here. All right, there's a couple 10 millimeters. This plastic cover in the front, I'm going to pull that off. Water pump line. Well, I think I can sneak it out. I hope so. Oh yeah, there it is. I guess you could sneak it out since I just snuck it out. Wasn't planning on doing a wheel pan removal video on this Ford Focus, 2000 Ford Focus, but sometimes I amaze myself at the stuff that I just don't see. I know better. I pulled this when I was doing the intake to do the intake gasket and it broke. And I wasn't paying attention, didn't realize it. There's the other half to it that I got out. This is down in the block. I had to pull the pan and use a brass punch. I was like, what I don't want to do is beat this end up so it mushrooms out, and then you got to get it through the block, and it's hard. So I used a brass punch. It came right out, hit it maybe 4 or 5 times, popped up out of the block. So I've got to order a new dipstick tube and a new gasket, and I'll do another short video on how to put this thing back together. It's tough to show a lot of it. What you have to do basically is undo this front cat and kind of move it to the side. When you're underneath, have to move it to the side, put it on a stand, and you can weasel a pan out of there. It's a little tight. I had to move the front cover. That covers the plastic cover that covers the crankshaft and the water pump hose, and that's about it. Not very difficult. You know, it took me half an hour to an hour right there. You know, getting the heat shield off, taking the cat out, doing that kind of thing. But if you have to pull the pan on this single overhead cam 2.0 liter SPI motor Ford Focus, I hope this helps you out. If you like the video, subscribe below. Thanks for watching.